Morning, Peter. Thank you so much for joining this hangout
Yeah,
this
good
Monday
morning.
morning. Basically, we're
You're
going to be
welcome.
talking about the agenda setting for the new federal government of Nigeria led by Mr. Muhammadu Buhari. Very quickly, how do you
Okay.
feel about Nigeria having a new government, opposition finally becoming, finally coming into power?
I think the best way to put this is hope. A lot of Nigerians, at least from where I stay and all that, have always had this belief that there was nothing good going to come out. You know, everybody was just generally giving up. There is nothing that's going to come out of the government anymore. But with Buhari's winning the election, he showed that the people have a voice that can be heard. And now with the new government, Buhari in charge, with his inauguration was amazing. I loved all the points he picked out, and we're just hoping he will be able to implement those things he said, and implement them as soon as possible because there is actually no time. We have 4 years for his first government before we move. I don't know if he'll be able to continue after the first tenure. So I personally feel these are exciting times. These are times of high expectations. But for most of us, we know miracles don't happen in government. So we're patient, but we want to see decisions that show purpose. We want to see decisions that, and appointments obviously, that show that we are moving forward, we're making progress, we're trying to reverse some of these issues that we've come to, believe are systemic. The issue of corruption, the issue of power, the issue of petroleum. We believe these are key issues that Buhari needs to address. And we're all hopeful, we're expecting the best.
Thank you very much, Peter. Thank you so much for that contribution. In the meantime,
You're
I will
welcome.
come back to you. I'd have to go to some other callers on Hangout. But in the meantime, please do make an effort to face the light rather than back the light, so that we have a good picture of your
Okay,
face. So
okay,
if you can please face the light
okay,
instead of backing. I'll be back. Good morning, Lawson
okay.
Emmanuel. Great. Where are you calling from? All right, great. So we're talking about the new Buhari government. But before then, I can see a text written across your screen saying "I love chicken." That's interesting. If you would please remove that, thank you so much. And please also lower your webcam. Just bring. You can just bring down the top of your laptop if you're using a laptop. Just drag it down a bit. Okay, that's not too much. Just fine. Great, thank you. To all other callers on the Hangout, thank you so much for joining. We will take each and everyone's contribution, but we'll need to maintain absolute silence so that we don't have noise filtering from Taraba to Lagos, and the rest of the world where other callers are calling from. So please do make an effort to maintain absolute silence wherever you are. So yeah, very quickly, Lawson, what are your expectations of this new government? All right, please hang in there, Lawson. If text on you, there's a text, certain text written across your screen from you. Is it coming from you? Okay, so do you have anything like F this government written across your screen? Are you typing text in any application? There's a certain F word, this government, written across your screen. Okay, okay, thank you. I'll be back to you though. Please hang in there. Osho, thank you for joining. Can you please say something so that I can confirm that? Okay, I still cannot hear you, Osho, unfortunately. Peter, I'd like to ask you if you can see any text written across Lawson's screen.
Yes, I can see the F word, this government.
Okay, Lawson, you may need to just check some
Maybe
applications.
maybe he should log out and log back on.
Okay, great. That's a great idea. Lawson, please do log out and come back in to the Hangout. Apps are closed if you can manage that. Peter, I'm back to you now. Just you and I because
Okay.
Osho's audio seems to have failed. So very quickly,
Okay.
some what are the policies you would like to see this government implement?
Um, well, there are a few of these industries in Nigeria that need serious attention. Akinwumi Additional, the SWL Minister for Agric, he's done a fabulous job with the agricultural sector, and I believe Buhari should find someone that can fit in his shoes and carry on with that work Akinwumi started. It has really, given a lot of people the opportunity to, actually go into agriculture and make it not just for feeding but for business. The work he did with the fertilizers and all that, making sure people get their fertilizers and everything. Now, the other policies for me has to do with um, power. One of the biggest challenges we have in Nigeria is power. I work in an industry where we have to run diesel generators on all our sites 24/7. That is immensely expensive. Buhari needs to find an effective um, way to handle the power situation. I expect by the end of his tenure, in my opinion, if we can get to 12 megawatts, 12,000 megawatts, I mean, that will be a big achievement for Nigerians. I mean, with power, people would invest in this country. People will be interested in coming with their businesses because they know they wouldn't be stifled with the problem of diesel, the problem of the cost of running business generally. Then we come back to the issue of petroleum and the refineries. We are 180 million people in this country. We have no business with the kind of crude oil we have in this country. We have no business importing petroleum products into this country. We definitely have what it takes to run refineries that can at least supply the local demand for petroleum products in this country, and then we make money from exporting crude oil. So if these three sectors, agriculture, power, and petroleum, and that's the oil sector, are properly managed, if they are put on track, I have a strong feeling that most of the problem of corruption stem around majorly these three sectors of our economy. So if he can implement policies that would put these sectors, in the right place, he would have been able to fight off some of this corruption cabal thing that we keep hearing, around. And I think we will enrich a lot of Nigerians. A lot of people would actually believe in staying in Nigeria rather than going to the US or to Europe or to even South Africa for a better life. I think we can create a better life here if some of these sectors are properly managed and are, productive for Nigerians.
Thank you very much, Peter. We have
Thank
new
you.
callers now. Lawson, welcome back. Well, no text at this time. I hope it doesn't come back. So very quickly, what policies or what are the issues you feel this government should address very quickly? All right, thank you so much, Lawson. Please hang in there. I'll be back to you, but let's quickly take the views of other callers on Hangout. Moritala, good morning. Great. Where are you calling from? You seem to be quite unsettled at this time. Are you prepared? We'll need Roland. Okay, we'll need your camera to be stable because right now I can't see you, and we'll need your camera to be stable. So I'll come back to you though. While you sort that out, let me quickly go over to. Oh yes, it is, but not quite. You need to place it on a platform so that you wouldn't need to handle it yourself and have it moving. Okay, but there's too much headroom. You can lower it a bit. No, too much headroom. There's too much space above your head. Okay, this is good. So very quickly before I go over to other callers on the hangout, um, like I said earlier, gentlemen, please just try to maintain absolute silence while the hangout is on. It is very important that we maintain absolute silence so that we can hear what other people are saying and we do not have noise filtering from one caller to the other. So very quickly, Moitala, are you ready? Moitala, I'll be back to you. Let me go over to Perkins. Perkins, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, Perkins, thank you so much for joining the hangout.
Thank you very much for having me.
Awesome. So where are you calling from this morning?
I am calling from Abuja.
Awesome. The seat of power. Very
Apparently.
interesting. So basically, we're talking agenda setting for the Buhari-led federal government, which was inaugurated on Friday, and we're trying to figure out what exactly Nigerians want sorted out ASAP. What is your take?
Hello.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, I will want to start by saying that we, as Nigerians, yeah, we don't really have any take. Take in terms of we don't really have any agenda for this government. The reason being that during the campaign, over 93 promises were made. So that itself is an agenda for this government. So I believe they should start from there and meeting our expectations.
Thank you. Now, on a personal note, what would you like addressed ASAP? Hello, Perkins. You appear muted. Can you probably unmute yourself from your end?
Okay.
Okay, great. So on a personal note, aside from the promises, I know that you would personally have expectations of this government and of your long list, perhaps you would have priorities. Could you share some of those with me?
The first part of that it's very important that they have access to ensuring that the right people are appointed. That's the right thing. The president himself, President Muhammad Buhari, cannot deliver everything by himself. He's not a miracle worker, and he's not a magician also. So he needs a team. So the first part of things I'm looking out for is the appointment of his team, which most of us have been waiting for to see. Okay, who are the people he's going to elect? Are the people credible to the Nigerian people? Are these people who have questionable characters? Are these people who, as a matter of fact, have good credibility and are competent to do the job, not because of where they come from, their religious or their ethnic affiliations, but because they have the competence to deliver to the Nigerian people all that they have promised during the election. So first of all, I'm looking out um, for the appointments, and secondly, I would have expected that on the inauguration day that the president really announced some key policies, in his speech. But the speech came like, to me, like a chalk, because nothing really concrete was said there that he's going to do, that he has done. On that day, I would have expected that the president should announce one thing that concerns me a lot about it's the first subsidy removal. I would have expected him to announce that the first subsidy will be removed on the day of inauguration. But we are still waiting. Like they say, we didn't vote in, not supported those that supported the president coming in and all that. We didn't support a magician, not a miracle worker. So we are still expecting, and we believe that this government will not be a slow and steady government as to the Yaradua government in appointing key officials into government. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Perkins. Peter, I'm back to you.
Okay.
So there are a couple of projects. Another thing that people are concerned about is some projects that the Goodluck Jonathan administration started. Say, for instance, the Shopee and the UWIN. These are projects, and there are several other projects that the Goodluck administration started. And a lot of people are wondering if that culture, that bad culture that we've seen in Nigeria for years, when one government starts something and then the government is out, then the following government doesn't continue. What would be what would you like to see as regarding some projects? Are there some projects that you feel should be maintained, and are there some that you feel should be probably ditched?
For the ones you mentioned, the Shopee and the UWIN project, especially the Shopee. Shopee was supposed to be a subsidy reinvestment program, which meant that the money, saved, from the subsidy, whatever, was supposed to be reinvested into, people, Nigerians, and all that. But we all know the story of Shopee and what a sham it was. Now, while I think it's a good idea, I honestly believe this current government have so much burden on them that it may not fly with them based on their priorities at the moment. The UWIN is also, I know a few people that actually won the UWIN. They didn't know anybody, they don't have anybody in government, and it was interesting because these are people that actually had these ideas, and the UWIN project was able to help them start up their small businesses with the help of funds that they required. I really liked that UWIN. I hope the new government would look at these things critically and not just write them off because they are from the previous government, and see the impact it has actually made. If they think it's a beautiful idea and one that should be probably managed better for the greater good, beautiful. But if at the end of the day, his economic team, I liked what the other guy said about the key appointments and the people Buhari will be working with. He needs to put people that are very competent, people that know the economy, and people that can manage the economy, so that he is not going to do everything. He's probably going to be signing approvals and all that, but the policymakers, the people that will be working with him, should be people that they should have some understanding of how this economy runs in Nigeria, and make the best decisions for this government going forward. So I do not subscribe to scrapping projects because I didn't start that project. If the project is good, it's good. It doesn't matter who started it, and that is where I think Buhari's government should be looking at. What projects are on ground, which ones can we go with, which ones can we afford, which ones can't we afford, and then go on with that. I don't think it's a good idea to scrap projects because you didn't start them.
All right, great. Thank you so much. We have another caller, Zaharadin Hamdana. Good morning.
Good morning.
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Manchester.
Okay, great. What is your Twitter handle? Gentlemen, please, can we all drop our Twitter handles in the chat box? Yeah. So, Zaharadin, very quickly, how do you feel about Buhari's government?
Well, to be honest, there hasn't been much to feel about the government because the government hasn't really done anything. But I think there is a lot of expectation about the government, which some are unrealistic, but with time we will come to understand whether they will be able to deliver or not. But what I think it's key is if the government is able to fight corruption, a lot of the problems Nigeria would be solved. And in fighting the corruption, what is key is the ability to appoint people who will be able to fight this corruption or to take it down. And another thing, he should try as much as possible to reduce the cost of government, because that is partly what brings people who are unable to deliver, or people who do not have the best interests of Nigeria at large. So I think if he's able to do these things, everything will eventually work out.
All right, thank you, Zaharuddin. Now, gentlemen, we'll have to begin to bring this conversation to a close, but each and everyone will still have one more opportunity to speak. Now, the focus now would be that how soon how soon should we begin to see the change that was promised? Of course, there have been people talking on social media and discussing all sorts, and some supporters of the government are saying, the guy just got in, give him time. So the question now is, how soon should we begin to see the change? How patient, for how long will Nigerians be patient and wait to begin to see action? Now, aside from the appointments which you've mentioned, which should be reviewed in about a week or two maximum. How long? Are we saying, okay, in 6 months, things should have started changing? Are we saying in 1 year? How soon? I'm going to begin with you, Osho. I hope your audio is good now. Oh, praise God. Don't mind me. Okay, so finally you're able to participate in the Hangout. And so, how soon would you like to see change?
No, she said that she wants to ask me one question. No, it's not.
Hey. Tangible, I believe. Great. Where are you calling from? Malaysia. Where in Malaysia? Kuala Lumpur. Great. I'll be back to you on shore, hopefully before we run out of time. Let me go to Babangida Ruma. Good morning.
Yeah, morning. How are you?
I'm very fine, thank you. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Malaysia.
Oh, Malaysia as well. Where in Malaysia?
Kuala Lumpur.
Oh, same thing. Great. Gentlemen, I see that Perkins and Hamdana, they've dropped their Twitter handles. Let's all do the same. So Osho, okay. Peter, as well as Babangida, please also drop your Twitter handles in the chat box. Babangida, you may please go ahead. What would you personally like to see Buhari fix first, or Buhari-led federal government? What would you like to be fixed first?
Unfortunately, Nigeria is a country that need many things. For me, I always said what I want from Buhari is the youth empowerment and poverty eradication. If you can look at it, Nigeria, we have many youths. We have more than 1.6 billion young people that are not in school, so which is not good. And I remember last time, I think 3 days ago, I had an interview with a Vanguard, which I mentioned that we call for change and the change has come. So we need to change ourselves so that the change will implement it in Nigeria. For instance, I mentioned that we need to, when we go for queue, we need to follow the queue, we need to follow the traffic lights order, so that we will change. And as I mentioned earlier, we need youth empowerment issue to be one of the most priority key agenda of Buhari, because youth are the vanguard of any revolution. They are the vehicle for change. So if Buhari did something for the young people, which I honestly believe for the next generation, we can have a good leaders. Anything that Buhari did now, he's doing it for us, the next generation. As we voted for him, we have a full assurance that he would do something for us that in the next generation we will do it. So unfortunately, if Buhari did a good things now for us and the youth are not educated, so the next generation we cannot produce a good leaders. Anything that he did now, it will be destroyed. And for the poverty eradication, as I talk for the education, education is the key to eradicate poverty in any country, not only in Nigeria. So unfortunately, we need to have good educational sectors so that we will have a good people and we teach them how to study, and after when they study, what they study in the school, they will implement it in the society. So for now, Nigeria, we need awareness in terms of youth development, poverty, which when I talk about security, security is one of the priority key agenda of Buhari, which I pray for him. He can do it. He can make it.
All right, thank you so much. Perkins, I'm back to you. Same question I asked you all the time. How soon? Osho gave the government 100 days. I'd like to know what your verdict is.
If you're looking for verdict, I will leave here for the verdict, but not here for verdict, but expectations. See, to be fair, yeah, Nigerians did not vote for excuses. We've had excuses over the years. The Goodluck Jonathan government, had a lot of excuses which were made known to Nigerians. We all had several excuses since 2010 till they left. Now we don't want excuses. During the campaign and all that, Nigerians voted for a government that will work. So if you ask me, as soon as possible, immediately, I would have expected that after the inauguration, I should see things running, things on Friday and on Saturday. That's the truth. I'm not talking about building roads. I'm talking about when a government cannot function, a government cannot run without seeing clear policies. If by Friday or during that inauguration, of Friday, we heard policies being read out during the inauguration speech, today we should have something to discuss. Right now, we don't have anything to discuss. What are we discussing? We are like we're discussing in the dark because we don't know where the government is going, from the right to the left. We don't know. So right now, I need instant, what's it called? Instant miracle. The instant miracle in terms of what does the government have in store for us? You said you're going to provide power for 4 years. You will have 20,000 megawatts. That is what was said during the campaign. That is to say 5,000 megawatts every year. Right now, we don't know the policy towards creating such kind of power for Nigerians, and also talking about the job creation for Nigerian youths. So immediately, if you ask me, in my opinion, immediately I need to see these things being pushed out in terms of youth, like what my brother just said. In terms of youth empowerment, during the campaign, they said that every youth that graduated from the university after your NYC days, you will have access to an amount. After your NYC, you have access to an amount. During that process, you will be trained. You will have acquired skills and all that. And I can assure you, the previous government did that through the GIS program, the graduate internship scheme. Okay, why wait for a graduate to finish university, goes for NYC, and start training that person to have a job? That is wrong. Why not do that? Okay, every graduate in the final year must go through a skills acquisition program while you pay them there. Then after NYC, they will begin fully employed. Why wait for them to graduate, finish NYC, and start giving them money? I mean, that's crazy. You're making the graduates very lazy. So immediately, we want to see things happening. Not miracles, not magic, but let's see things to talk about. Let's see. The promises are much. Like I said, over 93 of them. They are much. We have them. We all documented them. So we want to see things working. Appoint the right people to do the job, and let us have things to discuss. On power, let's have things to discuss. On education, let's have things to discuss. On revamping our economy, let's have things to discuss. And finally, on NNPC, which everyone is discussing. The former speaker, the former spokesperson to late President Musa Yar'Adua, he published a book few days ago, Mr. Olusegun Adeniyi. He published a book calling for the removal of fuel subsidy. You need to look into that. In 2012, we fought against fuel subsidy, and we saw what fuel subsidy did to us a few weeks ago. The country almost ran to a stage of shutdown. So we must look at that. I, for one, I am for fuel subsidy removal. So the president should start from there. So I want him to start immediately. No excuses. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Perkins. Peter, please let's try to make the contributions as short as possible because we're wrapping up this conversation. How soon do you expect to see change?
Wow. Like you said, I will just make this very brief. First thing first, the people that Buhari would want to work with, the people who employ, I think that for me would be a signal for change. So that given the time frame where we're expecting to hear the names that will be, be put in the economic team and all that, I think that will give us the signal as to what direction this government wants to go, and that will give us a signal as to the change that we're waiting for. So give or take 2 weeks, like you said, I expect to see names that will make all of us, believe that there's a change that is coming, and new things will happen that will be better for all Nigerians.
Thank you so much. Zahardin. Same question. How soon do you expect to see change?
Well, as I said earlier, I believe once the people be appointed as minister and other positions, will be in a better position to make conclusions on what exactly the government is able to do. But then again, as I said earlier, there is so much expectation on this government, and I believe we have to be patient. We cannot expect miracles, but then again, we need to hold them to account. That's very important because, as people say, Nigerians voted for change. We need to see that change. We should not be deceived again. So, probably 3 months is good enough.
Thank you so much. Gentlemen, I think we've come to the end of this conversation, but before we close, I'd like you to please drop your Twitter handles if you have not. Thank you, Babangida, thank you, Zahardin, and Perkins for doing that. Peter, I don't know if you have dropped yours, or sure. Have you dropped your Twitter handles? Very important. Thank you. So you would need to drop your Twitter handle in the chat box. Peter, what is your Twitter handle? Hello, Peter. Peter, you seem to be muted, so I cannot hear you. Please unmute yourself. Hello. Osho, what is your Twitter handle?
I would love to.
Okay, can you please put that in the chat box?
Okay.
Okay, Peter, I'm expecting your Twitter handle as well. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining this conversation. We really appreciate it. Well, like I always say, God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The program comes up at 3:30 today on Channels TV, so you can please watch out for that. Nigerian time. All right, Peter and Osho, I'm still waiting for your Twitter handle.